Hey tech enthusiasts, buckle up because we're diving headfirst into a colossal tech train wreck. Remember the Humane AI pin? The darling of the tech world, promising to replace your smartphone? Well, it just crashed and burned, leaving a trail of angry customers and a brutal lesson in its wake. Did Humane just straight up steal $700 from you? Some might say so. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm pretty sure this has some legal ramifications. What about the promise of a futuristic AI revolution? What about the promise of a mobile phone replacement? Let's explore the failure of Humane's AI pin and dissect why this device is now nothing more than an expensive paperweight. Let's find out what went wrong and who's to blame. And most importantly, what can we learn from this spectacular disaster, because this is a complete and total disaster. I'm not even sure if anyone will ever trust another AI pin ever again. This is a huge problem for the industry and a huge problem for consumers. So, here's the bombshell. Humane sent an email to its customers announcing they're winding down the consumer AI pin. Sounds gentle, right? Wrong. It's a complete and utter shutdown. No more sales, and all existing devices will be dead by February 28th. That's right, your $700 AI pin will become a useless brick. But here's the kicker. It's not just a shift in business priorities, it's a fire sale to HP. This is not how you treat your customers, especially after making huge promises you couldn't keep. I mean, this is just a complete and utter disaster from start to finish. And you're going to tell me that all of this is just some business decision? I don't think so. How can you ever trust another technology company ever again after this? I'm not sure that the company is even thinking about the ramifications of what they've just done. I'm not even sure that they're even thinking about how this impacts the consumer. It's just a complete and utter disaster. After February 28th, your AI pin won't connect to Humane servers. No phone calls, no messages, no cloud access, no AI queries. Zip. Zilch. Nada. It's a $700 paperweight. It's a complete and utter ripoff. It's a slap in the face to anyone who believed in Humane's vision. This isn't just a product failure. It's a failure of leadership, a failure of ethics, and a failure to respect its customers. Imagine being so confident in your product that you make all of these bold claims, only to completely shut down the operation within months. It's not just embarrassing. It's borderline criminal. I am not an attorney, but this sure seems like it could be a class action lawsuit waiting to happen. I mean, I understand that the AI pin had some big problems, but to just completely shut down the operation like this is just not acceptable. It is not acceptable under any circumstances. Let's rewind to the pre-launch hype. Remember the mystery surrounding Humane? The secretive startup founded by Apple alumni? The futuristic video promising to replace our smartphones? It all seemed so cool, so innovative, so revolutionary. Founder Imran Chaudhry unveiled the pin at a TED Talk. The AI pin would project onto your hand. All of this was supposed to change the world. But then, reality hit. The software was buggy, the interface was unreliable, and there were even hardware issues that could cause fires. It was a disaster waiting to happen. I'm not even sure how they managed to get so much hype behind this product when the underlying technology was so flawed. It's a testament to the power of marketing, but it's also a testament to the gullibility of the tech community. We all wanted to believe that the AI pin was the future, but it turned out to be nothing more than a pipe dream. A pipe dream and a $700 paperweight. The real problem wasn't just the product's flaws. It was the massive gap between Humane's promises and the reality they delivered. When you make a promise, you have to keep it. Period. People were never going to ditch their smartphones for a tiny pin. It was a fundamentally flawed concept. But Humane didn't seem to realize that. They were too caught up in their own hype. And now, their customers are paying the price. A $700 price to be exact. It's a complete and utter failure of vision. It's a failure to understand the market. And it's a failure to respect the consumer. I mean, who in their right mind would think that you can replace a smartphone with a tiny little pin that projects onto your hand? That's just crazy. But Humane, they believed it. They believed their own hype. And now, they're paying the price. And so are their customers. Let's revisit that email. The first paragraph is a brutal example of tone deafness. Thank you for being an early adopter of AI pin. Your support, feedback, and enthusiasm have been instrumental. What journey? The company just shut it all down. You're not an early adopter if the technology disappears. Early adopters expect bumps, not complete abandonment. This is just adding insult to injury. It's like they're mocking their customers. They're saying, thank you for being a sucker. It's just unbelievable. The level of arrogance and lack of self-awareness is astounding. I mean, How can you possibly send an email like that after completely screwing over your customers? It's beyond comprehension. It's a complete and utter failure of empathy. And it's a sign that Humane is completely out of touch with reality. They're living in their own little bubble, and they don't care about the people who believed in them. Humane is bailing because their hardware and services weren't worth much. HP bought the company at a fire sale price, and they're not even interested in the AI pin business. That should tell you everything you need to know. It's a clear indication that the AI pin is a dead end. It's a product that has no future. And it's a product that should never have been released in the first place. It's a complete and utter embarrassment for everyone involved. And it's a lesson for all tech companies. Don't overpromise and underdeliver. Because if you do, you'll end up like Humane, a laughingstock in the tech world. And your customers will end up with a $700 paperweight. So, here's a question for you. Would you ever trust another company that makes AI pins after this? A lot of people lost money on Humane. Investors lost at least half their investment. Employees lost the opportunity to bring their mission to life. And, most importantly, customers lost $700 plus monthly subscriptions for a device that never worked. This is a financial disaster on a massive scale. People are going to be feeling the pain of this for a long time to come. And it's not just the money. It's the feeling of being ripped off. It's the feeling of being betrayed. It's the feeling of being a sucker. And that's a feeling that's hard to shake off, especially when you've just thrown away $700. So, what are the financial ramifications of the Humane disaster? And who's going to be held accountable? I think we should all be asking ourselves these questions. Humane might be the most spectacular device failure of the last decade. No other device came with such high expectations based on extraordinary promises, only to be met with the brutal reality that it couldn't fulfill any of them. This is a truly historic failure. It's a failure that will be studied for years to come. And it's a failure that should serve as a warning to all tech companies. Don't let your hype get ahead of your product. Because if you do, you'll end up like Humane, the poster child for tech failure, the poster child for overpromising and underdelivering, and the poster child for ripping off your customers. But what about the other potential candidates for the biggest flop in the last 10 years? Did anyone else promise so much and deliver so little? The most brutal part? Humane isn't doing anything for its customers. If you take $700 from a bunch of people, you owe it to them to deliver what you promised or give them back their money. Anything less is a failure of leadership. Before investors or founders get a dollar, Humane should refund its customers. Anything less would be the worst type of failure. This is an ethical obligation. It's a moral imperative. And it's the only way for Humane to salvage any shred of respectability. But will they do it? I doubt it. They've already shown that they don't care about their customers. They've already shown that they're willing to rip people off. So, why would they start caring now? I'm not holding my breath. But I think we should all be demanding a refund. We should be holding Humane accountable for their actions. And we should be making sure that this never happens again. This is a huge problem, and we need to do something about it. So, what does the Humane AI pin disaster mean for the future of AI devices? Does it mean that the concept of AI-powered wearables is dead? I don't think so. But it does mean that tech companies need to be more realistic about their promises. They need to focus on delivering real value to their customers. And they need to be transparent about the limitations of their technology. The Humane AI pin failed because it tried to do too much. It tried to replace the smartphone. It tried to be everything to everyone. And in the process, it became nothing to anyone. The future of AI devices lies in specialization. It lies in focusing on specific tasks and doing them well. It lies in delivering real value to a niche audience. And it lies in being honest with your customers. So, let's learn from Humane's mistakes. Let's build a better future for AI devices. And let's make sure that no one ever gets ripped off again. What are your thoughts on the ethical implications of this whole situation? Let's discuss it in the comments below.